Thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Serrao coming to you from Dodger Stadium. That's right, we are talking Dodger baseball, and we will also be checking in with the Angels down in Anaheim. But first up, I caught up with the Indy Car Drivers in Fontana who tell me what it's going to take to win a championship down the road. One of the things to conquering the race here in Fontana this weekend just might be keeping cool and staying hydrated. We're here with Graham Rahal, who's going to tell us exactly how to do that because it's going to be toasty in that car.
Yeah, it'll be hot this weekend, and 500 miles at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon here isn't going to be. You're not going to be able to stay cool. So,
no.
I think hydration's the biggest thing, and definitely that starts well before the race weekend ever would, and hopefully we can do the best job of everybody else.
Okay, now we're here in Fontana a little early this year. Usually we're finishing in Fontana, so this is sort of the heat of the summer coming on right now. Is this better to drive here now, or?
Well, I mean, just like last year, it was really, really hot. So I mean, we're only talking a month's difference, month and a half. So, frankly, I don't think it's a whole big difference. I think the biggest thing is, frankly, racing at night last year versus daytime this year. So that's probably what hurts you the most, but. For sure, I'm looking forward to getting out there. It's been a good season for us and the number 15 team, and so this is a big part of it. We got 6 races left. This isn't the season finale anymore. We go to Sonoma for the finale, but still, it's a big part of the year.
You are having so much success this year, and you're right in the hunt for the points. What's changed for you this year?
I think the team's doing an excellent job, and the guys have. We always try to work well together, but certain years it goes better than others, and I think the people that have been put in place this year have just done a really good job, and everybody seems to really enjoy working together, and that's a big part of this. And I think I'm driving okay, but really they're the biggest part of it.
Is the communication been better for you this year, do you think, or?
Yeah, that's part of it. A lot of people look at Dad not being on the radio anymore, and a lot of people believe that's kind of the biggest thing, but. Frankly, again, it goes back to just people and being on the same page and everybody communicating well. And, like for instance, this weekend already here at Fontana, we had to change an engine. And, normally that's a couple-hour process. And it looks like, looking across here, it looks like the guys are almost done. It's only been about 45 minutes. So, the team is just, I think the way that it's working together is a big part of the success.
You're going to have 3 ovals kind of in a row, but very different ovals. Talk a little bit about the differences between driving here you're at 500 miles versus the smaller ovals.
Yeah, here's tricky. 500 miles is a big oval. This place is pretty bumpy. The lanes are all very uneven, so it's you got to know exactly where to place the car. It's pretty tricky from that aspect. And of course, 500 miles during the day, as we talked about, is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Next week or the week after, we go to Milwaukee, which is a 1-mile flat oval. So we run the road course aerodynamic package, but there's no banking. It's pretty much just hang on. And then the week after that, we go to Iowa, which is another oval, but it's 7/8 of a mile, but it's high banked. Again, you use the road course aero package. That's probably the highest loads that we'll go to all year. But those 2 races, Milwaukee's racing style is very different than here, and Milwaukee's incredibly different than Iowa. So it's tricky, and I think that's what makes IndyCar racing special is that it's not like you're just doing one thing. All these places that we go to are so different.
When you finish a race, how much time do you mentally give yourself before you say, okay, turn the page, we're going to this track now? Is it right away? Do you take a day, an hour?
Pretty much the second this race is over, we're focused on the next one, and sometimes if things go well, sometimes I like to soak it in for a little while, but
celebrate for a few minutes, right?
Typically, with as our schedule's been this year, you have no time. We did 10 or 11 weeks in a row there, so when one race was over, you had to be focused on the next because there wasn't enough time to do anything else.
All right, show us your hydrating system, how this works in the car to keep cool.
Well, it's just basically it's a typical Camelback, bladder out of a backpack.
Right.
But we, obviously we changed the tubing, and these also sometimes they'll sit in an insulated bag to keep them cool. But this tube. You could see like these 2 will connect here like this, but obviously that's not enough length to get to me. There's another tube that will run through the car, up through the chassis, and come out over my shoulder. And this piece will go in my helmet, which again is just like a normal bite valve. Some guys have pumps, they'll actually spray the water, but I'm a fat guy, so I'm not allowed to. So, but this will be in my helmet. I can just pull it in or out. If I need water, I push it in. bite, the normal thing. So, we typically try to not run this bag full.
The whole race.
Yeah, just too much weight if you fill it all with water. Sounds stupid, I know, but it's true.
Every little bit counts.
But if they run it half, you have to run it enough to where it will pick up the water. That's the biggest thing, is sometimes you run it low enough to where you can't actually get any water out of it. So, but that's what we do. That's what we try, at least.
And water, vitamin water, what do you have?
I just use like a mix 50-50 Gatorade water. But everybody's different. I mean, some guys like just Gatorade, some guys like just water, some guys have sports drinks.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever works for you.
All right, well, whatever works for Graham Rahal. Hopefully we'll be in the winner's circle, and we'll pop some of that champagne instead of the water.
Absolutely, that'd be good.
All right, we're here with Scott Dixon, who is going through a series of firsts. This year you won your first race in Long Beach, and now you're looking to win your first race here in Fontana. So how are you going to do that?
Well, it's easier said than done, but the ultimate goal is always each race weekend that we go to, especially with a team like Team Target, is to win. But it's a tough race. We had a sweep last year, obviously first, second, TK winning the race last year, which was great for the team, and a good finish for the championship and the latter part of the season. But this year a lot of different circumstances, body kit, day race instead of a night race. So a lot of unknowns, just really that we're going to try and figure out in the first few practices before we get there. But as always, it will be action-packed, complete chaos. But hopefully we're in a good spot with 2-3 stops to go.
You've got 3 ovals coming up in a row, pretty much. Very different ovals. What's your approach to each one?
All are very different, but similar in some ways. In the fact this year with the body kit, there's a lot of things we don't really know. So the team, especially the engineering group, have to really
make a lot of adjustments, I would think.
Exactly. The first session and the first 2 sessions are just about a lot of changes, and with 4 cars, it's good because you can cover a lot of different bases. So the approach is always the same, and that's try to get the car comfortable, make sure that we're fast, and we're going to be competitive, and then for the approach to the race is trying to figure out what downforce level you're really going to need to be good and consistent throughout.
Going back to Long Beach for a minute, that was an amazing victory for you. What was that like for you in the last few minutes, knowing you had finally conquered that race?
You never know. I think the year before we were leading until 2 laps to go and we ran out of fuel. So anything can happen, and Long Beach is, has typically been a bit of a thorn in our side. And we've run okay there, but we never really qualified well. I think until this year, that it was I'd never qualified anything better than a 5th, or 6th, but we ended up qualifying 3rd. Got to 2nd on the start, and then obviously had the pit stop exchange there and got Helio. So once we got to the lead at that race, you're just hoping for no cautions and getting to the end, and there was some debris out there, and then you're waiting for a late race caution, something to take it away from you. But for me, just as far as races go, that was one that I've always wanted to win at. I won there in Indy Lights back in 2000, but never in an Indy car. So personally, that was a big race.
You're 3rd in the points now, and it's sort of on the downslide of the season. What do you think has been the secret to your success this year?
I don't know. We've had some rough races. New Orleans was bad. St. Pete, we had the mechanical problem with the air jacks. We got taken out at Indy road course. So I think we the good thing this year is that the car, pretty much any track we've gone to, has been very competitive. We've been able to run at the front. We've qualified really well. So I think that definitely helps. And some of the other competitors too have not had a great season. There's been no standout on someone that's gone on a roll, but that's kind of typical of IndyCar racing too. Just because it's so mixed about. But I'd say this year we're probably a little more consistent in where we qualify and the level of where we've been racing than previous seasons, and I think that attributes to where we are right now.
You mentioned earlier, we're going to end the season in Sonoma. You'll be back in California. What do you think that'll be like to end in the wine country this year?
Well, really cool. Obviously, there will be a lot of people trying to go to that race.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think even for myself and Emma too, we'll probably take a few days off afterwards. Emma gets to do the wine tours and stuff, before the race and during the race weekend.
You have to wait.
I have to wait until after. So, we'll probably hit Big Sur and maybe the Redwoods and travel a little bit around California, check out the great spots. But really excited, Sonoma, especially last year winning there. was always a massive event for Target. You know, we have 400 or 500 partners and guests that come to that race. So
funny how everybody wants to come to that race, right?
I know it's always stacked, and you can never get tickets for it. So, but that's a good problem to have, and hopefully we can maybe get 2 in a row here at Sonoma and finish off the championship very strong.
The last time we were at this track with Tony Kanaan, he won the race. You know how to win here in Fontana. It's going to be a little bit warm, and we're a little early this year. What's the biggest challenge on this track to winning?
It's obviously it's a 500-mile race, and the past few years we've raced at night.
Yes.
So the challenge there was the conditions were changing as the night went on. Now this year is going to be completely different. I really don't know what to tell you because obviously we changed the date. It's in the middle of the summer.
Yes.
You can feel the heat already.
It's a little warm out here, yeah.
So it's going to be a whole different game, I think. And this race being in the middle of the day like it is tomorrow will be probably a survival race.
How hot will it be in the car for you over the next 24 hours when you're qualifying and racing?
Probably around 110 degrees. So it's pretty hot, and we're dehydrated a lot.
You use the Camelback as well while you're in the car. Are you a water guy, vitamin water? What do you use to keep hydrated?
No, water. I mean, I like water because the thing is, you know, when you're drinking and like driving, which it doesn't sound very good.
It's a different kind of drinking and driving, right?
It gets sticky if you put something else. I personally don't like it.
Yeah. You know, you've got 3 ovals in the next few weeks. But they're different, very different ovals. What's your approach to a 500-mile race versus the shorter track ovals?
On the 500-mile race, you wait until the last pit stop to start really racing. You know, it doesn't matter if you're aggressive in the beginning, what position you are in the beginning of the race because it's such a long race. On the short ovals, it's a little bit different. Track position, it's more important. You have to stay up front. Try not to get a lap down, you know, and it's a whole different game. But, you know, the 500-mile races are really like, it's more mentally exhausting than physically.
Do you remember last year going through the same kind of mental thoughts when you were about to win this race last year?
Yeah, I mean, we, you know, last year we did 6 pit stops, and I remember up to the 4th pit stop, I wasn't really concerned about my position, but we ran in front all night last year, so it was just a matter of trying to dial the car in to what I wanted for the last stop, because after that, if you can't come in to make a change, then you're out there on your own.
Yeah, definitely. No, we are going to end the season this year in Sonoma, which is going to be different. It'll be a daytime race. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, it's a completely different animal than here. It's a road course. It's you know, a completely different approach of racing. So, you know, I really like the season finale here. Yes. But I guess.
Well, that's because he won last year.
But I guess it's not going to be here, so we'll try to. You know, it's another race in California, which is it's great.
Fontana is known by the last race of the season,
yes.
championship. You know, battling and things like that. But in the end of the day, still a good point, 500 miles. And you're right, that we are racing in the middle of the season, in the middle of the day, which is extremely difficult for our cars. Our cars are very sensitive to the weather. And when you have a track about 140, 150 degrees, it makes a very slippery and very challenging for the drivers and teams.
But you're very good out there. You qualified 2nd position.
Qualifying is always good to start in the front because you kind of eliminate some of the issues that could happen in the start. But unfortunately, it's not everything. You know, like I said, it's 500 miles. You can actually, not the position where you started is where you finish.
Right.
But it's always great to see that the car is performing well. Today we did have a great practice, and we feel that we're in the right direction.
You've got 2 more ovals after this, both very different than this track. Obviously, this is 500 miles. How do you sort of approach different ovals?
Well, the downforce that we have, especially with the aero kit that we have now with the Chevy aero kit, you can add a lot of downforce comparing to what used to be in the past. So, and you're right, we haven't run with this package yet on the short oval, so it will be first time. Everything is first time, even this configuration, which is kind of like similar to Texas. So at least we understand where to go, but you just gotta dancing according to the music, I guess.
And he knows how to do that very well.
You're right. Yes, that's right. So it's kind of like fun and to discover new areas.
Okay, and once again, right in the hunt for the championship, you're always right there. This year we're going to end it though in the wine country, so maybe a different outcome this year.
I would love to be drinking wine as a champion. So with that,
Yes.
we have a lot of work ahead of us, but we feel confident that Team Penske is, well, first of all, they're doing a phenomenal job. They always do a great job, and I'm very proud and honored to be part of this organization. So hopefully, hope I'll be the one to give them the title.
All right, and I will be checking back in with the drivers in Sonoma in just a few weeks when the championship will come to an end. All right, now here at Dodger Stadium, everybody knows Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke, but Mike Bolsinger has been a solid number 3 for the Los Angeles Dodgers all season. Here's my interview with the ace. Well, first and foremost, we're here with Mike Bolsinger from the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the most important question I have to ask you is, you're from McKinney, Texas, right?
Yes, lived down there.
Okay, so are you a Cowboy fan?
No, I was actually, my whole family's from Chicago. I was born there, lived there for probably 6 years, but always kept going back every winter actually. And I mean, I'm a Bears fan.
So he is a bona fide Bears fan then, living near Dallas. How is that?
It's interesting.
I bet.
It's overcome with Cowboy fans. It's me, one of my friends, he's a Minnesota Vikings fan, so usually it's just me and him versus everyone else in the state of Texas.
Of course, that's right. So what's it been like for you since you've been here as a part of the Dodgers team?
It's been fun. If you can notice, I'm always smiling.
You are.
Having a good time. You just gotta enjoy the moment. You know, I've had a few rough starts, but you gotta forget about those kind of things. And you know, there's an old saying that you learn more from when you lose than when you win. So it's interesting how much I've learned the past two starts about myself and what I need to do. And just talking with Honeycutt, and I've just learned so much from him. He's definitely molding me into the type of pitcher I want to be. You just can't ask for more.
What I love about you guys too, especially all the pitchers, is you're always talking and sharing information. It's got to be a huge help as well.
Oh yeah. Sometimes not even talking. It's me just observing. I really look at Zach Greinke a lot.
Right.
Just
He's kind of good, right?
He's really good.
Yeah.
But it's just I watch him, I guess, kind of in a freaky way. But I watch how he just goes about his business, how he throws, how he does his bullpens. I kind of want to try and mimic what he kind of does because it kind of fits into what kind of pitcher I want to be like. I love the way he pitches, I love the way he mixes up things. And he's definitely someone that I look up to as a pitcher. And it's awesome that I'm on the same team as him. And I can just pick his mind.
I often want to ask starting pitchers, you have, days in between starts. Do you find yourself watching even opposing pitchers when you're out here for every game? Because you obviously you can't just stand there and do nothing. Like, you have to wait until your next start. So what do you find yourself mentally doing?
Yeah, you kind of, it's just like hitters. Hitters are always looking at other guys' swings and stuff like that. And, when you're not doing anything, you're kind of looking at the other pitchers, especially the really talented and good ones. You're kind of analyzing them and, seeing what they're doing. The way I pitch isn't really, it never really originated from me. It's me basically putting a bunch of things that I've seen in different pitchers and kind of putting it together and hoping that something good comes from it. And but that's really what I've done. So it's amazing to kind of look at the different styles of pitchers. With Muscom on the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's definitely a guy that I'll be up on the rail watching just because the way he pitches is it's amazing. His mechanics and everything like that. It's awesome to watch.
Okay, and to continue with pitching here at the Dodgers, I caught up with J.P. Howell, who is not only committed to baseball, he's committed to a whole lot more. We're here with J.P. Howell. Now, J.P., we're going to talk a little baseball, but first I wanted to talk to you about the work that you do with kids with bullying. What made you sort of champion that cause?
We just something that it just came natural to me. It was easy. I think it affects all of us at some point. We've either gone through it, witnessed it, or tried to help someone get along through it. And for me, I don't like seeing kids, shy away from that because I know how, intimidating that can be and probably set a lot of fear in you, and it may stick with you for a long time. So if they could just understand it, and I also feel bad for the bully as well, because I know he's probably going through some things, and so that's something we just wanted to attack, and it might help improve some things down the road.
And I know you and your wife both have been out to schools, and what I think is so cool is when I saw some of the video is the kids look at you. Of course, they see the Dodger blue and the uniform, and they really look up to you, and that must be a neat feeling for you.
It is. It's something I've been there. I know what that's like. I was a kid, and I looked up to the baseball players too. And here I am, fortunate to be sitting in my seat, and I can do anything but share.
Which is really great. Now, talking a little bit about baseball, you've been in a very unique place this year because when Kelly went down, they called upon you to be the closer. And I know that everybody as a pitcher, your roles are very specific, but you adapted to that very easily. Why was that?
I mean, I've done it before earlier in my career, and playing I've been a starter, I've been a closer, I've been the guy that goes 3 innings out of the bullpen or 1 out. So I've done it all, and that's just it's part of the fun of the long journey of the season.
I read that you said that if we can't switch roles or pick each other up, then we're not a very good team.
That's true. I mean, if you can't do it, especially with Kenley being out, it wasn't that long of a time. It was only a month and a half or whatever, and if you can't do that, you're gonna have struggle.
You guys had so many new guys this year in spring training. How long did it take for you guys to kind of mesh together?
It took it's still going. It's always a work in progress, but it's better. It's much better. It's improving, and that's what you want to see right about now. You want it to become more natural. You don't want I know those guys. I know what I can do. I know I can joke, who I can't joke with, and that's the important part.
I know one of the people here in this organization that you knew very well was Andrew Friedman. Talk about that.
He's the greatest, man. I've known him since since I was with the Rays, and that started in 2006. He traded for me, gave me a huge opportunity over there in Tampa, and he's always had my back ever since I can remember. So it's having him here. It's a good feeling.
Once you get to know a GM, what kind of conversations do you have with them just kind of throughout the season?
He's a unique GM. It's usually other guys you may just stick to baseball most of the time, but with him, it's probably the thing we talk about least.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's he likes to talk about normal things. He just he doesn't want to. We're here all day, every day. We could, we see each other a lot. So with him, he likes to change the subject as well.
Okay, now what kind of things do you like to do when you're not playing baseball?
Me, I think I got a competitive problem. So I play a lot of video games. I got to be competing, and it keeps me quiet. My wife loves it, and it's also somewhat healthy.
What kind of video games?
I play baseball games. The game Call of Duty. It's a shooting game, and stuff like that. So those are my 2 hot ones right now.
And now it's time to catch up with some new Angels in Anaheim who have made a big impact this season. All right, we're here with Johnny Giavitella, correct?
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
A mouthful, Johnny Giavitella, but you're also known as Johnny Drama since you've been here with the Angels. Some guys love the pressure. You seem to sort of thrive in it. Why is that?
I don't mind it. I just go up there, relax. I know that the pitcher is the one that's under pressure, that he's the one in a tight situation. So I go up there, relax, wait for my pitch, and try to do some damage.
Interesting because there are so many amazing hitters here at the Angels, and a lot of teams maybe don't have a Mike Trout or an Albert Pujols. When you watch them, what do you think you sort of learn from that?
I watch them every day, and it's just a pleasure coming to the ballpark and be on the same team as those guys. So I watch how they work, I watch how they go about their business, and they're legends of this game. So I definitely admire the way that they play, and I try to emulate my game after them.
What's this been like being up here with the Angels the last few months?
It's been unbelievable. It's been a tremendous ride so far. Coming into spring training, I was kind of didn't know what was going to happen at the beginning of the season. So I came in hoping to make the squad. I did. And it's been a great run since. All
right, we're here with Andrew Heaney, who had a very interesting road, let's say, to get to the Angels. I thought it was interesting because you were part of a trade, and you actually were with the Dodgers for about 5 minutes. And you had an interesting tweet that you sent out that I still kind of chuckle about. Tell us about that.
I got traded from the Marlins to the Dodgers, and never actually spoke to anybody with the Dodgers. I got a call back from the Marlins and told me, hey, they flipped you to the Angels. And so I just thought it'd be kind of funny to tweet it out. I don't know.
It was really nice of you because you thanked the Dodgers for all the time that you spent with them.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny.
How does it work when you find out that you are traded? What is your process like? Where do you go? Do you leave right away? What happens?
No, this is the off season. It was in December, so I was just at home working out, getting ready to come to spring training. It didn't change much. Other than the fact that it was Arizona rather than Florida, that was the only difference. And I like Arizona better anyway, so it was a good trade-off.
What's it been like being here with the Angels, especially recently when you guys really came into the break on fire and you seem to come out that way the same way?
It's been awesome. Every time I go out there, I get like 7 runs of support,
Nice.
which makes pitching a hell of a lot easier. So, I'm excited about the team winning. I just want to keep pitching and doing what I can to help.
We talk about that a lot, about, the run support. When you have the run support, what is your mindset? What goes through your mind when you know you have 5, 6, 7 runs, maybe even going into early innings?
Yeah, you can be more aggressive in the zone. If you give up a hit, give up a homer, if you're up 6-0, it's not going to hurt you. But in a 0-0 game, you got to be a little bit more careful. Sometimes you can get yourself into more trouble than you need to.
And finally, it's not every day that you get a bobblehead made especially for you, but when you're as special as Nancy B. Hefley, it is well deserved. Here's more.
Well, we do a lot of autograph signings with different athletes and celebrities throughout the year. And I actually reached out to Nancy. I was a fan of hers. I mean, you couldn't not go to a game and know who she was. And she was a big part of my life, even though she didn't know that at the time. But she's impacted so many different lives. And I reached out to her on Facebook. And it took a while to get back. I don't know if she did like a background check on me or what, but but it turned out to be a good thing. And I kind of, so we started off, we did a couple autograph signings with her, and then it led to this event here because I thought, there'd be no better way to honor somebody like that. It was an honor to me to be able to do that to her, for her. And it's just been an amazing project that we've been working on together.
I know that you collaborated with her on the look of the bobblehead. How did that sort of evolve?
It was great. As we'd be getting the prototypes back, I would forward them to her, and she's quick on her feet, man. Like if you send her a text, she's like, bam, she responds.
Yes.
And especially on this, she'd get these things. She goes, oh, this is great, but you think they could fix my hair on the left side, or do you think they can? So it was just awesome. It was a real awesome experience.
And of course, you've reached out to fans all over, and the line and the people, the response has been overwhelming.
It's been crazy today. I was telling Bill, her husband, earlier that you can always, think about or dream about something like this happening, but to have it a reality and actually have these fans coming out. And I know they're out here in the hot sun, and I appreciate them waiting, but I think once they get up there, they're going to see why they had to wait so long, and it's going to be worth their wait once they get to meet her.
Well, this is terrific. I mean, to honor Nancy, who is a legendary Dodger.
Yes,
Let's face it, she's a legendary Dodger. To be a part of that's very important. Mark has done a wonderful job in not only promoting this, but getting somebody out there that we all want to see and we all have heard for so many years. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
And it's nice that the fans really come out to do the support as well.
The Dodger fans are the best.
Yes,
Okay, they keep going a tradition, and what bigger tradition is there than Nancy? So anything to do with tradition, they're involved in it, and they will turn out.
This is quite a crowd that's come out for you today.
It's pretty exciting.
It's really
didn't expect that much.
Well, Mark was just telling us how many people have responded, and it's been overwhelming, and they're finally looking for more boxes of bobbleheads back there.
That's pretty. I never dreamed it would turn out this way.
It's really amazing, and I know that the evolution of making the bobblehead was pretty cool. He said he would send you pictures, and you would look at it, and it's come out so great.
Yes, I'm real pleased with the way they came out. I sent him all kinds of pictures, and he picked what he wanted, and I think it turned out very well.
It did. It looks great. I think it looks better actually than most of the players that we see. So I think you did good. And a big congratulations to Graham Rahal. He won the race in Fontana, and we'll be catching up with Graham, Helio, and all the guys at the championship in Sonoma in just a couple of weeks. All right, that will do it for this show, but on our next show, get ready for some NFL football. I'll be with the Cowboys and the Raiders, and of course, lots more news from the Dodgers and the Angels. And remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. I'm Maria Serrao from Dodger Stadium, and we'll see you next time.